So someone came up with the idea, why don't we do a Zoom Seder?
I know that there are probably thousands and thousands of Passover Seders this year that are going to be happening over devices like this.
We're all in different locations right now, and none of us are really leaving our houses unless we absolutely have to.
It's a cool experiment, though. It'd be interesting to see what happens. Who knows? It might be the wave of the future.
The Goodman family has been gathering together in the United States here for Passover for over 100 years. So the first Seder that we know about happened in 1918, which is kind of ironic because that means it happened the year of the last plague. the influenza plague.
We've been going to my cousin's country club and having it there. And of course, the country club has closed for this time.
Kenny emailed everybody. He puts all the cousins in on a group email, so like 60 different people are getting it. And he said, it looks like we're really going to have to cancel this. And this was before all the shutdowns happened. He said, we don't really want to fly back to New York. It just didn't sit well because every year at the Seder, Kenny gets up and says, this Seder has been a continual thing since our grandparents arrived in this country.
We don't want to lose this tradition. We don't want to skip a year. They didn't even skip years during the war. The boys were all overseas serving in the military. All 4 boys served in the military overseas, but the parents and some of the women and children still had the Seder.
I just kept thinking about it. I said, can't we do like FaceTime Seder or something like that? And then 10 minutes later, Mitchell gets back to me and says, we were just thinking the same thing. And then my cousin Alan gets on the email and he says,
why don't we do a Zoom Seder? And it caught on, and that's what we're going to have Thursday night.
I think at this point, we're probably in about 20 different locations with about 60, I counted 62 people. Now there's one that's iffy. I'll tell you about that one. So that's my mother.
Dottie. We got to feature Aunt Dottie because Aunt Dottie is going to be 100 years old this October.
The one thing I'm really hoping is that we're going to get my Aunt Dottie on. She doesn't use a computer. She's 99 years old. She doesn't use a computer, but she does have an iPad.
My nephew managed to send her a dumbed-down iPad that has one button on it for FaceTime. We haven't quite gotten her to be able to put Zoom on yet, but if we can't, we're going to FaceTime with her and show her somebody's computer who's on the Zoom call.
Actually, there's some good things that came out of it because, I have a brother who lives in Colorado. I have another brother that lives in Seattle. My cousin Liba lives in Houston, and so does Marcia. And my cousin Ken lives in Asia. So this is actually going to be the first year that all of them, and my sister, this is going to be the first year that all of us will actually be able to partake in the Seder.
But I don't know why we've never put a laptop on the table to include the people who haven't been there. And my guess is we will be doing that again.
One element of this that I think is going to stick, and my guess is it's not just going to be our Seder where it's going to stick, but in the Passover service, we talk about the 10 plagues. And, so now do we have 11 plagues? And while this one may not have been the one that caused the Jews to have to escape from the Pharaoh in Egypt, but this is now a new plague, and whether people remember it for that or not, it's hard to say.